Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyan Manji Vidyapeeth for the students of Standard 9, in which we are learning the subject of English. Students, from previous lecture we have started with the understanding of one of the important topic of the writing section, that is email writing. Let's take a quick recap of what we have learned in email writing so far. This is lecture number 2 for email writing. Let's take a quick recap what we have learned so far in email writing. First of all, what is email? Email is also known as electronic mail. That is a method of exchanging digital messages across internet or other computer networks nowadays, not only on PC, laptops, but we have email servicing on mobiles also. So it means that it is the quickest way to communicate, and that also in writing. With along with not only writing, we can add lots of attachment like some of the files. Uh, for example, a Word file, a PDF, yes, recording files, whether that's audio, video, we can attach lots of attachment to it, and it becomes quite an easy method of communicating. It is one of the quickest one and one of the shortest one, yes. So email becomes quite important in our life to learn everything about email, how to write email, what should be the format of writing an email. Email messages, they consist of two major parts. First is the subject header, consisting of a subject, from, to, a date, time, etc. Next is the body, which is almost equivalent to the letter writing that we do. Yes, questions for email and letters, they will be almost the same. Yes, but there is a little bit difference in the body that we write, and also the top part, that is the major section that it has, that is the header, consisting of from, to, that is different format forward in letter and in email. Emails, they are usually written in quite a formal tone, and the language used is quite simple and as far as formal as possible, and not much decorative type of language is used over here that we usually write in uh, letters. That type of flowery or decorative language we do not use. We keep it quite simple and quite formal. They are sometimes the printouts of the emails can be put up for display also. So we have to be extra cautious when we are writing emails, because they are put up in on display in public areas like libraries, office notice boards, school notice boards. So we have to be a little bit extra cautious when we are writing uh, emails. Yes, because the language should be quite formal, and it should have the desired impact that it must have. Next, we have in email an additional uh, CC or BCC, sorry, which means carbon copy or blind carbon copy. Suppose we want to send the same copy, right? But what happens in a letter, you have to either get it xeroxed or you need to take out more printouts. Then you can send it, the same letter you can send it to lots of people. But uh, email comes handy, and it's quite convenient when we want to send the same email to a number of people. Then we use CC, that is carbon copy. Then that same email, it will be sent to the main recipient, plus it can be also dispatched to a lot of number of people without doing actually anything. So BCC, that's blind carbon copy, we want to send it to lots of recipients, but we do not want those particular recipients to know that it is being sent to a particular recipient also. So that is blind carbon copy. Nobody else can see to whom it is being sent. That is BCC. Then essentials of email also we learned in the previous lecture. What are they? It should have a subject. Subject line is very important. Subject line should be quite brief, quite short, as far as possible, ending up in nearly 3 to 4 or 5 words. Yes, more than that, it becomes a sentence. It should not be. Uh, the subject line should be given, should be able to give a clue to the reader what whole of the email is about, right? So the subject line has lots of importance, because just by looking at the subject line, the viewer or the reader will be able to know what's in the content, whether it is pertaining to him or it pertains to other department or someone else, right? So it should be not a complete sentence, just a small clue. Salutations are equally important. Just in a letter that we write, opening salutation, closing salutation, yes, they are also quite important over here. No letter starts without opening salutation, no letter closes without closing salutation. Same way, email, opening salutation should be there, closing salutation should be there. Yes, addressing to the recipient, that is also important, according, because we have letter formal and informal. Same way, email also we have formal and informal. So depending upon the addressee to whom we are addressing, the addressing can open as dear sir oblique madam, or respected sir oblique madam, as it may go. Then we come to the opening statement. Other essentials of emails are that we learn that begin with a pleasantry or a greeting. Usually, that is how we open a letter, also, whether it is formal or informal. We open it with a greeting or some pleasantries. While replying a message or an email, you should answer it with "Thank you for your message," or "I received your message" at the beginning of the clarity and tone should be there. Yes, your tone should not be offensive. It should not be insulting. That is the meaning. Yes, it should be quite simple. You are stating something, right? So it should look as if you are stating it. It should, the tone should not look quite repulsive, right? Clarity should be there. At the end of the message or at the end of the email, the receiver should be able to know the content, understand the content. It should not leave him confused. That's the meaning. It should be quite clear. That's the clarity. When you expect a reply, when you certainly want any acknowledgement, then write over there, please acknowledge. Or if you want a reply, please write over there, please let me know, so that the other person knows, yes, I got to reply. When you want to help, yes, when you're offering help, then you can write it over there, that whenever you need, I'm there, or you kindly inform me, or you please inform me whenever you need, right? So this way, convey your message clearly. Paragraphs should be in order. Introduction, the big thick one, and this that is second paragraph, which has the detail of the question, and the third, summary, conclusion, parting lines, if there are any, it should be there. Each main idea should be in a separate paragraph. That's understood. Please do not use SMS or short language. Yes, short messaging language, that way. So elaborate and write properly. Complimentary close should be there. Thanking you, yours is, that way. Regards, love, whatever. Thanking, complimentary sentences should be there. Now, this is the format, whole of this format. This is for understanding, otherwise, whole of the email will go in a box. Yes, it starts from. That means from whom, that is you. So, what is the format? This is an email ID, right? So, each and everyone has their own email ID. So, that goes, what is the format? ABC at the rate dash dot com. It can be gmail.com, hotmail.com, it can be .org, .in, whatever. So, it is usually the ID. Yes, the format of ID is abc at the rate dash dot com. Same way, too, the other person, the recipient, he should also have a Gmail, an email ID. So it is the same format. Only thing is we change the name. Yes, so instead of ABC, we have XYZ. It can be anybody. At the rate dash dot com. Yes, in that dash you can write Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, whatever. CC again, if we want to send it to multiple people or more number of people, you write, but then every time you have email IDs. Yes, if you want to add more in CC, then you got to put a colon after comma. Colon indicates the email provider that another ID is there after it, right? So opq at the rate gmail.com, colon, then semicolon, and then you write another ID. BCC, if you want to and see, they should not be able to see that the same email has been forwarded to another email ID also. BCC can look to whom it has been sent, but 2 and CC cannot see that it has been sent to BCC also. That is blind carbon copy. Then date. Now date is usually sent. Date and from is usually sent when we are email. It is by the email provider, right? Uh, but here we are learning it for academic purpose, and that is why we need to specify from and date both. So after the uh, first part is over, we write the date, yes, with a colon, and 24th July, comma 2020. Subject should be clearly mentioned. Opening salutation, dear sir, oblique madam, respected sir, oblique madam. Then the content divided into 3 paragraphs as per need, and the closing salutation. This is the format of the email. Now, how will it look in picture? That means when you are putting it in a box, this is how it should look. You have made a big box, right? You should remember that the top line should be made, the side lines should be made, but the bottom line has to be kept open. Yes, this should not be there, the in between line. This is just for trying to make you understand that the content will come over here, right? Keep the bottom line open so that when you finish the email, you can close the box. The fourth line should be kept. From, you can put a box for decorative purpose. If you don't put a box, that's okay. From, that is your email ID, to whomsoever you are sending email ID. CC, again an email ID of another recipient. BCC, if there is any, then otherwise CC and BCC will be there, but this you have to write, but columns will remain blank. Date, of course you have to write. Subject, of course you have to write. This is the one. And in this portion you have to write the content along with opening salutation, content, that is 3 paragraph, and closing salutation. So far we have learned this much. Go ahead, students. I hope you must be sitting with writing material, because you have to note down lots of things. First thing we'll run without, before even approaching how to write an email or an example of that, let's know first things is what do we do and what are the don'ts. So do's and don'ts we got to learn for email. So do's and don'ts about email. First thing is do's. What should we do? Use an informative subject line. Informative subject line, that means the subject, where we used to write the subject, it should be informative. That means it should tell the reader what is going to come in the content. You should clarify that very positively, right? Most important information first, right? Use number and bullets to make message clear. Sometimes you need to strike out 10 points. Yes, so numbering and bulleting should be proper. For example, you have placed an order. Now when you place an order, what happens is order will have multiple items. Yes, for example, science reference book, maths reference book, then you have a social reference book, then you have 3-4 books that you have. Then use A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, or simply put dots so that you can count, okay, these are 4 things that the person has asked for, or this was the order that needs to be cancelled, right? Special. You should mention it specifically along with neat and clean numbering or bulleting, so that the reader is very sure of what you mean to say. So the content part should have lots of clarity. Yes, you don't put it in paragraph form that I had asked for a science reference book, a maths reference book. See, if it is in a paragraph form, he won't be able to distinguish. But if it is in a proper numbering and or bulleting form, yes, specifically written in some form of a table, then he can easily distinguish this, and he can work in a more better way, in an organized way. And that also shows that the writer of the email is quite organized, and he knows how to represent properly, so that it becomes easier for the reader to read the content and to understand the content. So we have to be very clear when we are writing the content part. Now, use simple grammar and language. You don't use too much of very hi-fi grammar or quite high language over there with lots of new words, difficult words, yes, or sometimes synonym, antonyms of the words. Yes, do not confuse the reader. You want to convey the message, do that only. Yes, please do not confuse the reader with using words that he is not able to understand, because most of the time what happens is we are writing to some highly highly placed people, position people, right? We suppose we are writing to mayor, or we are writing to the commissioner, or we are writing to the secretary of the state, that is officials. Yes, then they are quite educated, but you see, most of them, they have PAs, right? And PAs, of course, they are also quite educated people, but sometimes the receptionist also, for example, if we are writing to some factory or industry, the receptionist is usually the person who opens up the emails for the people and then sends it to the different departments. She will not be able to know, she might not know that higher terms of the language, and perhaps she might get quite confused, right? So it may happen that way. So keep the message quite straight and simple. Don't use too much high grammar or quite confusing grammar or language. Write short sentences, yes, so that the matter remains quite easy. Use separate paragraphs, yes, if there is a need. Yeah, you add one more paragraph to it rather than confusing things. Don'ts. What do we don't do? Do not write about irrelevant issues. Yes, my house is having a irregular supply of electricity. The house next to me also is having irregular supply of electricity. Yes, 2 3 homes after that also they don't receive proper supply of electricity, right? यस, आपके सबके इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लाइंस तो जुड़ी हुई है, आपके घर में नहीं है तो बाजू वाले घर में भी नहीं होगा. So those are irrelevant things that you are mentioning, and unnecessary. You are just increasing the length of the email over there. That's quite irrelevant things, right? Because electricity is not there, I cannot charge my scooter, or I cannot recharge my uh, uh, mobile battery and all that. Yes, so these are irrelevant things. The main important point is irregular supply of electricity, right? Uncertain, right? So that way, focus on the relevant issues and do not write irrelevant topics over there or issues. Give personal information that you don't want someone else to know. Do not give personal information. Yes, you just write, I am a student and right now I am in need of late night studies, and for that I need electricity, and at the same time the power is cut at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and comes at in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Yes, and does not allow me to study properly, right? So you write just that over here, right? You don't write that I am a student of standard 10 and I study in this school. Yes, morning I go at this time, evening I come at this time, right? So don't write irrelevant information. Do not pass information that is not supposed to go to the recipient. Use capital letters to write whole words in emails, right? That is considered shouting. Yes, it is very true. Let me explain that properly. Suppose you are writing the email and somewhere it comes that your department is not, I'll write the words over here later, is not uh, about the future of the students. Now, what you want to write is your department, or suppose it's the electricity, and because students are at loss when the power is cut, right? When they need it. So you want to write that your department is not serious about the future of the students. Yes, you should be writing serious this way. And ah, this is smallest, and all the letters are small. Serious becomes part of the sentence. But what happens when the same thing you want to highlight? What you do is you write like this. Now when you write all capital and bold, what happens is it looks as if you are shouting at them. Yes, in writing you are shouting at them that your department is not serious about the future of the statement. Even while writing we can shout without any sound, right? It is because of that all letters are capital. It looks as if even from the letter you are shouting at them. Yes, it's very wrong. This is not a formal way of writing. You cannot write in this language. We have to understand this. Yes, it makes a wrong impact of our email or our writing, our intentions. Yes, it gives a very wrong effect to the reader. So please avoid capitalization, all capitalization of the word when we are especially writing the email. So that is the meaning. Use different fonts. The recipient's computer may not be compatible. Yes, and that is for when we are typing. Yes, and in writing. If you are writing, then it's quite okay, right? Uh, when we are writing, what happens is we usually have that same size of letters when we are writing. So the handwriting is it looks quite neat and clean because the font size of all the words is usually the same. Yes, but what happens when we are typing an email, what happens is we use different fonts for effects. Yes, now those fonts we have, but perhaps the computer on which the recipient is working may not recognize the fonts, and maybe that word will not be clear. So that one word missing, that means whole of the email it is worthless because of that one word. So use different fonts in typing. Okay, you don't do that. Keep the same fonts throughout the email so that use italics. Do not use italics. Yes, use exclamation mark. Do not use exclamation mark. That is the meaning. Do not use incomprehensible abbreviations, acronyms, smileys, right? Or do not use things that are not understandable by that person. The recipient may not be able to understand. Now smileys, we know everybody doesn't know what this smiley means, because this is the language in which the smiley is. When converted, it appears as a smiley. But what happens if in his or her computer, the recipient's computer, you do not have that language which enables this colon and the closing bracket? It doesn't appear as a smiley, it just appears as you are seeing it right now, right? Then the reader will be confused, the recipient will be confused what this symbol means, because it doesn't appear on his screen, right? So same way in writing also, we do not use any symbols that are not incomprehensible. That means you cannot understand them. So incomprehensible abbreviation, for example short form. Yes, so any short form you can take, BRVP. Now, you know what is BRVP, but that opposite person, the recipient, doesn't know the full form of BRVP. Then that opposite, he understands the complete email, but then he doesn't understand one word over here, that is the abbreviated form, the BRVP. Now he is confused. What does this mean? Until and unless he doesn't understand what is BRVP, whole of the email has no worth, no value, because he cannot reply to you until he doesn't know the meaning of BRVP, the full form of BRVP, right? So don't use abbreviations, don't use acronyms, don't use smileys, which cannot be understood by the opposite person. These are the do's and don'ts. Now we come to email, types of email, that is the two types, informal email and formal emails, right? Now we have the same thing in letter writing, formal letters and informal letters. Now let's see what is the difference over here. Informal letter, just like letters, informal letters we write to family and friends, same way informal emails we write to family, friends, near and dear relatives, etc. Same thing. Language used will be informal. There also letter we use an informal language, same over here we write informal language. Now yes, usually the content will remain the same. Yes, same way you have the opening salutation, dear uncle. So in email also you write the same thing, dear uncle, dear auntie. Yes, then greetings, how are you, I hope you must be fine. So same thing goes in email also. So we see that the content part of the email, usually it is the same as letter writing. So usually do not have much difference in letter writing or email writing. So here we are able to score marks because you write a letter or you write an email. What is the difference? The format is only the difference. First thing, letter writing will not be in a box, email will be in a box. Next, addressing part of letter and addressing part of email, they are totally different. That is the difference, right? Other than that, no difference. Date we write over there, here also we write a date. Subject we have to write in formal letters, subject we write here. That's the difference. Yes, subject we write in formal also, informal also, because that is that is the thing provided, and it's a compulsory thing, right? So uh, subject has to be written, whereas in informal letters we do not write subject, but here that format is provided and we cannot avoid it. So in emails, whether it is formal or informal, we have to write the subject. Then the content part, it depends upon us. So here content part is the same in letter or in email. So this is how we are able to score marks, because not much difference is there between the content part of letter writing and email writing. Now, as you people must be having uh, the writing material with you, please note down this question. I'll be dictating and you will be noting down in your rough book, and then you'll copy it down in your fair book, so you have everything about email written in your fair book along with examples also. This is example number 1. Write an email. I'm dictating, you are writing. Yes, please listen carefully. Write an email to your father. Write an email to your father who is in Bengaluru, who is in Bengaluru, Bengaluru, Bengaluru. He is on official duty and you are inquiring about his health. I am repeating the question. Write an email to your father who is in Bengaluru on an official duty, inquiring about his health. His health was not good when he left your home, that is the meaning, or when he reached over there. At that time, his health, he was not well, yes, and now whole of the family is quite worried, yes, especially mother, right? So write an email, because email nowadays we receive on phone, right? He might not be able to pick up your phone because he might be in a conference meeting or some official duty, right? But he can always, whenever he has 2-3 minutes of spare time, he can always peep into his emails and WhatsApp, etc. So we assume that this might be the quickest way in while communicating with him. So this is the question, right? Now this is the overall view how your email should look. You see, whole of the email is in a box. Of course, the fonts are too small. We'll come to that. This is for your understanding how your email should look like, right? So we have on top over here, from, to, CC, BCC, date, subject, and the content part complete, right? So we see from, email ID is there. Now we know from the question your name or your papa's name, your ID, your papa's ID, nothing has been told to us. So we have to imagine it. So it will always be from imagination. So we have to imagine it, and from, I have written over here, Rajiv123 at the rate gmail.com, same way, to G Thakur at the rate gmail.com, that is the recipient, that is the father. CCBCC, I don't need to give any copy to anybody else, or I don't need to give a blank copy. So I write CCBCC, but I keep it blank. Then the date 24th July 2020. Subject, inquiring about health. Even when this is writing to your father, that is quite an informal email, then also subject is quite necessary. Opening salutation, content part, you can see clearly these two lines, they are the introduction. Yes, these two lines, they are the This is the second paragraph. This is the third paragraph or closing line, closing salutation, right? So you see clearly this is the complete layout of the email. Now let us go ahead and write down the example in fonts that you can see, copy it down from the board. Yes, from. Make the top line, make the side line, and keep the fourth line blank. Do not make the complete the box. Keep the fourth line open so that when your email is complete, at that time you can leave one line and complete the box. On the top, from, colon, and you can write any imaginary email ID. I have written the same thing. You can write Rajiv 123 at the rate gmail.com. That is from. 2 2 colon gthakur at the rate gmail.com. You can write any other email ID that you want. I do not have to give anybody a copy, so carbon copy. I'll write CCC, I'll make a column in the line, but keep the CC blank. I do not have to give to anybody blind carbon copy BCCI write, but I do not write any IDs because I am not giving that mail to anybody else. So I hope you must have written 1, 2, 3, and 4 things, right? Now we go step to the date. Date, colon, you have to write date, colon, and then 24th July, comma, 2020, which is the accepted format for writing the date. Subject, clearly write. Subject you will always get from the question. You are inquiring about his health, so inquiring about health. 3 words, subject line is complete. Yes, now this is an informal email, so you are going to address your father as dear father. Yes, he gets a lot of respect from your side, that's okay, but he is very dear to you, right? So dear papa, comma, this is the first paragraph that you see over here. Yes, that should be the introduction. Greetings. What are the greetings? You must have reached Bengaluru by now and must be at your official duty. You already know that. You are just conveying it. So you are hoping. That is a type of greeting. When you hope something, then that is a type of greeting. So you are hoping that you must have reached Bengaluru, and that means safe and sound, right? By now, and then your official duty might have started. We asked you to give a call when you reach there, but as usual, you must have forgotten. You know your dad very well, right? He forgets things, and especially some serious notes that are passed or at the last moment before any journey. He usually keeps on saying yes and yes, and he agrees to everything. But then, when he is on his duty, he usually doesn't have time for that, or he forgets that. So, we people, the family people, had asked you whenever you reach Bangalore, then give us a call. Yes, but we accept that we know you, and as soon as you reach Bangalore, you must be on your work. So you must have forgotten. So we accept that you must have forgotten, but now it's beyond time that you must have reached over there. So we assume that you have reached over there safe and sound. And okay, so this is your introductory paragraph. Yes, you write this much. I think that's quite 3 or 4 lines over there in your page also. So that is a small introduction that you need to write. Next comes the main content part. Right now, what is the main content part? Papa is away. Who is the most worried person? Mama or mother is the most worried person. So put her name in the front. Mother is very concerned about your health. Yes, mother, she is always concerned about the health of each and every family member, right? So you have gone out of town, and that is more worrisome, because if you were here and if you are not, your health was not good, she could have looked after you. Yes, but now as you are away, she is very much concerned about your health. So mother is very concerned about your health, especially when you were not feeling so good when you left for the airport from our house. When you left for the airport, at that time only you were not feeling well, and that is why mama gets more worried, because she knows that when you started your journey at that time you were not feeling well. So it might have worsened, and you are all alone over there, nobody to take care of you, nobody to look after you, and that is what makes her more worried. So you got to apply that in your writing. Mother is very concerned about your health, especially when you were not feeling so well when you left for the airport. She didn't give you a call as you might get irritated. Mother knows father very well, yes, and she knows that if right now I put a call, father is going to get irritated and he might shout on the phone, right? She knows her husband very well, so that also you put it over here. Yes, she wanted to give you a call, but then she knows your nature. You might not like when you're on work, you don't like for your family disturbing you now and then, so she did not call you, right? So this is the second paragraph, quite detailed. Now, the last third paragraph. Yes, it should be informative, or it should be conclusive, or it should have a summary. Papa, do ring up mother. What's the main purpose of writing the email? You didn't phone up till now, and we are not able to phone you or ring you up. So, first thing you do is you're writing the email so that you're telling your father to give a call to mother. Papa, do ring up mother to let her know about your health. This is the main purpose. As usual, the closing address should be there. Dear Papa, so yours loving son, or yours lovingly, the name Raju. Right? So in this way, we are able to complete an email, as this one was quite informal. You must be able to write down the complete email, then put it in a box. Now write another question. You have traveled by metro for the first time. Write about the experience to your friend via email. Now, you went out of your city for the first time. You went to quite a big city or a mega city, and you had a chance because that city had a metro rail, and you were very delighted to find that you have that much time that you can take a ride in the metro rail, and you can get that experience, and then later on share that experience with your friends. So you have traveled by metro for the first time when you went outside to a mega city, metropolitan city. Write about the experience to your friend via email. You were so delighted, you were so excited and thrilled by that metro rail ride that you cannot wait, and instead of waiting for all those days when you reach back your home and then you tell your friends, you do not have that waiting time, right? You're so excited, you want to write it then and there and convey it to your friends. So please think up about what you are going to write. This is going to be your homework for today. Today's homework is this question. I'm repeating it. Yes, please write an email and forwarded it to your associate for checking purpose. Question 1 for homework is: you have traveled by metro for the first time in your life. Write about the experience to your friend via email. So with this, we complete today's lecture. Thank you, students.